We will now, and I have to go a little early. I have a hard stop by 8:45. So probably we'll try to cover maybe 10 verses or so today and then little question answer sessions we can complete. So we'll start with prayers. Those who have not done prayers so far, yeah, Meera Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, I can go ahead and sing today. Om Ajnana-timirantasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur-unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri-Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalaam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padha Sahaganas Lalita Shri Vaishnavamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Mataji.
Very deep. We will also say Srila Prabhupada Pranam Mantra. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Thank you so much. The melody was very nice. So we are in chapter 6 and Krishna is talking about the mind. We are skipping the revision as I have to go early today. So how can the mind be the friend? And when is the mind the enemy? Anybody? Yeah, Namrata Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So, mind is an enemy when we don't think of Krishna. So, Maya would control our mind. Yep. So, if we want to make mind our friend, we should always remember Krishna, chant, and uh, do devotional service and read Bhagavad Gita.
Wonderful. You gave the answer in a package. That's true. Okay. But here, since he has not spoken much about devotional service or Krishna till the sixth chapter, um, there is one particular thing that he's saying, that when the mind is this, then it is controlled. When the mind uh, is, yeah, it's in text 6, purport. So from here, from this purport, if you can tell when the mind is controlled and when it is not.
Mataji, when we conquer our mind, then mind will be our friend. If we can't conquer, then it will be our enemy.
Okay, that's from the translation. Yes. So what does conquer the mind mean? Give me 1 minute.
Mataji, when mind is following the super soul, like the resting in the super soul, then it's very well controlled and rested.
Sorry, what did you say, Mataji? Can you repeat?
When mind is in with the following the super soul
Right.
and not ordering by the senses, own senses,
Mm-hmm.
like this material body and whatever eyes want to see, and mind is not that following that. But if the mind is in, like always thinking or thinking of super soul, like super uh, uh, like Godhead,
I don't know why you put the thing to
in
so
other
far
words,
here.
then it's in control. Like, because I think it's like the senses are like horses, what we saw in our first level Bhagavad Gita, that five senses, they are like horses. They take us all in different directions.
Right.
And mind is the controller with the leash to
Oh.
the horses.
Mm.
So when that mind is following the Godhead or thinking of the super soul, then it won't run after the senses like horses.
Very nice. Very nicely said. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So we see actually what is meant by running behind the senses is serving the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. But when the mind is conquered, then the one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the Supreme Lord, who is situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart. So then Krishna is saying the aspects of Ashtanga Yoga and how we have to be regulated in habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work. Main problem in this modern day is this: we don't have regulation of this, and breaking this cycle is what is, people think that it is enjoyment. It's Friday means Friday night hangout. Saturday means Saturday night, because I don't need to go to work or school tomorrow. So I can extend and be awake in the night. But that is actually brings irregulation, and so many problems are because of that. So Krishna is saying regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work. That's why we have the japa call, not from Monday to Friday, but 7 days a week. So if we have a motivation and a reason to get up and do spiritual practice, And by doing spiritual practice, if we have a taste for that, then we will not want to sleep. So we're getting okay. So we are getting taste to do that. So we are able to get up no matter what, whether it's work day or weekday or weekend. So this regulation is very important, and there should be a motivation for this regulation. Okay, so then we also saw that when a person is established this, then he never departs from the truth. Upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. There's nothing that can appeal to him that better than this. So that's why there is a book called Salted Bread. This is about the trials of devotees in communist Russia before the communist regime fell down in 1990, early 19, I think 90 or 91. Before that, it was, they were put in jail. They were asked to come on the TV and say that, just one line you say that this Hare Krishna is bad or brainwashing, then we will give you everything. Many people, many devotees have even died. All of them are Russians. 1 million copies of Bhagavad Gita was sold underground. So in that the name of the book is Salted Bread. You can look it up Amazon. So why? Because in the jail they were put into so much atrocities that they had only bread, and they used to make beads out of the bread and make 108 such dried bread balls, and with that they used to chant. So, so much stories. That book is how, in how they had a printing press and how they were, because the Russians were very eager for this, uh, like that. So even now we see, recently what happened, last year, some opposition or the person was put in the jail somewhere in the north of Russia, and suddenly he died. Even now it's like that. Then we can imagine in the communist regime how it would be. But all those devotees are Russians who read Bhagavad Gita and who became devotees, and they wouldn't give that up, even if their life is gone. I mean, they were put into torture. They said, "You just come on TV and say this, then we will release you from the torture." They were ready to undergo torture, but they were not, publicly willing to say that this is a wrong cult. Why? In a very short time of chanting, they could feel that they've never heard about Krishna before. They don't even know Bhagavad Gita. But in a very short time of practicing this, they could come to this conclusion that upon gaining this, there is no greater gain. And then this is the one. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. In one particular instance, there was a devotee, and they employed, if she was a female devotee, and they employed witchcraft. They summoned a witch, and they said that uh, using exorcism, you make her, control her mind, and you need to make her tell that this is Hare Krishna is bad. So the witch came with all the things, and she started everything. And after 45 minutes, she stopped. And she said, I cannot do, I fail. Because this person is chanting something constantly, and my spell doesn't work. This chant is so powerful. And then there is this person, and she was actually able to see Srila Prabhupada there. This happened maybe in the late 90s or 2000s, I think, even after. So Prabhupada had passed away in 77, but this witch lady, he could see that there is an old man who's staying there nearby this person, and he's showing his finger to me like this, no, and he has so much power that I cannot do anything to this person. So this is a real incident, and we had interviews from that Mataji, how she was protected. So, like that, see, I was reminded of this. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. So, we will do from 24 today. Can someone read from 24 to 30?
Hare Krishna Mata. Yes, I can read if no one else is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. How much I have to read?
Just the translation from 24 to 30.
Okay. Text 24. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Text 25. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. Text 26. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Text 27. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme and thus he is freed from all reactions of past deeds. Text 28. Thus, the self control yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Text 29. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Text 30. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, so he says that one should the in this verse, the significant words are with determination and faith, and not be deviated from the path, because these three things is the problem for a yogi. So faith increases with the knowledge and practice. So first we come with a little faith, then when we practice and then we gain more knowledge, then the faith increases. Because the faith increases more and more, then we try to practice more and we think, oh, this is working for me, this is giving me answers, and this is also practically I'm feeling. So it's like a cycle. But for that, two things we should have: that determination and not be deviated from the path, which is a stumbling block. So, what is determination? In this, there is in the purport, Prabhupada explains a story that there is a sparrow who laid her eggs on the ocean. Okay, previously, if you see Panchatantra stories, everything speaks. In Satya Yuga, animals, birds, trees, everything was speaking. In fact, trees were also moving. That's what we had. Mountains were flying in Satya Yuga. Then slowly, uh, there was no conversation. I mean, animals would converse among each other, but human beings can't understand that. So the sparrow is laying an egg on the shore of the ocean, and the ocean takes it away. So the sparrow is asking the ocean, give me back my eggs. What a vast ocean, and what a tiny sparrow. So the ocean must have been laughing. What is this tiny little creature doing here? But the sparrow is telling that, okay, I am going to dry you up, taking a little bit, little by little in my beaks. I'm going to dry you up. And then she started taking little by little in the small sparrow. Sparrow is one of the smaller birds, and the beak is so small. But the sparrow had a determination that I can dry this ocean by taking that bit by bit. And because this determination was so convincing, that this Garuda came. And if we see Garuda, it's a gigantic bird carrier, that Garuda is bigger than the planet Earth. The planet Earth itself, Garuda is bigger than that. And also Garuda has immense power. And if we see Srimad Bhagavatam, the stories of Garuda, how all the demigods put together also, they cannot do anything in front of Garuda. So for whom whose size is bigger than the planet, for him to, take away dry the ocean is not a easy thing. So Garuda comes and he asks the ocean that you give it back. Otherwise, I will do the job of the sparrow. So then, it is mentioned that the ocean was frightened at this and returned the eggs. This may look like a fairy tale, but as we know that there is even in Ramayana, we see the ocean god came up, and then after being threatened by Rama, he succumbed to Rama. So we we in Kali Yuga, we don't have this knowledge, we don't see through. That's why we exploit nature so much that we have to tell each other that you have to be environmental conscious, mother nature, nothing so much it's so selfish that I don't care what pollution I create. Even the whole of Delhi is stuck by in pollution, standard by pollution. Also people continue to do pollution. I will cheat the thing and I will get a certificate, but I will not go through the. So basically all this is because of impersonal idea of the natural resources. We think this is there and this is for my enjoyment, and every country thinks like this. So if they are not able to give the goods, they wouldn't distribute the goods, export, but they will dump it in the ocean, because every country thinks only about his own economic uh, improvement, not about others. So the Vedic knowledge is teaching us to see how everything is a person too. The tree is a living being, the earth is a person, the ocean behind it is a person, the rivers are persons. So we can see that example that's coming up. So what do we learn from this is that because the sparrow was determined, the so similarly, the practice of yoga, especially Bhakti Yoga and Krishna consciousness, may appear to be a very difficult job. But if anyone follows the principles with great determination, the Lord will surely help. For God helps those who help themselves. So, I mean, getting up in the morning, you have to chant every day without fail. And, you have to give up things that are very dear. I may want to go to I have this means of entertainment, and, senses are controlling new things. Oh, it's a very difficult job. But no, if we practice with determination, see, determination, that's why uh, Dhruvam is determination. So the devotee Dhruva, he was determined to get a kingdom better than his father and grandfather Brahma. And he was only 5 years old. He was determined to achieve it, and he got a pole star. Dhruva Loka is nothing but a pole star that would never annihilate, even when Brahma Loka is annihilated. Everything goes around pole star. For Dhruva to achieve on its own, it's not possible. Okay, but he had such determination that the Lord came and gave him this. So, similarly, these are very important qualities for yoga: determination and faith, and not be deviated from the path. Yeah. Then, how is he telling? Gradually, step by step. Overnight, it cannot happen. It can only happen gradually by meditation. Mind will run, but we should bring it. And every day when we try, when we chant, what's happening is we are going one step ahead in controlling the mind, one step ahead in surrendering to the Lord, one step closer to the Lord. Every mantra we speak, every mantra we chant, every day we chant, we are progressing. Like how the waxing moon progresses. Otherwise, if we leave 1 day, 2 days, and then chant 1 day, and then leave 3 days and chant 4 days, it's like up and down. So, when we are climbing up the stairs, we climb 2 steps, but we climb down 4 steps. Then how we can make progress overall, right? So gradually, step by step, with intelligence. Why am I doing this? That's important. Otherwise, it becomes ritual, and finally we will leave it off. Why am I chanting? Why I have to eat food offered to Krishna? So all these things, we have to keep telling the intelligence, sustained by full conviction. Then the mind should be fixed on self alone and should think of nothing else. So from wherever the mind wanders, mind is flickering and unsteady. One must certainly withdraw it. Like we saw the example of the child and the timeout. Then after 17 times, 18 times, then the child understands. I sent a video. I don't know how many of you saw that. Me and the mind. It's a music. There is no dialogue in that. It's just a music, but it very picturizes very nicely how when we start to chant, mind is overpowering. But when we continue to chant, then the mind becomes like, you know, uh, like winds up its tail inside, because finally the mind also listens to the mantra and gives him. So if we say that mind is wandering, what answer Krishna is telling? Yes, mind will wander because it's flickering and unsteady, but you try to bring it back and keep doing it again and again and again to put the mind in its place. So, and a person who's doing this, fixing the mind on the Lord, what is he? What is he rewarded with? When he realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, that I am eternal, like Supreme Lord who's eternal. I am blissful like the Supreme Lord. Satchit Ananda. I am full of knowledge, like how the Supreme Lord is full of knowledge. And because of that, what's happening? He's freed from all reaction to past deeds. So far, in many, many lifetimes, whatever he has done, all those accounts are erased. He doesn't need to suffer for that. Like we have got so many debts. See, one person, we have got study loan, this loan, that loan, mortgage, 30 years we have to pay, and so many loans, personal loans. Somebody comes and says, erases everything. Now you are free of debts. You don't need to pay the mortgage anymore. The house is yours. You don't need to pay any loan. How will feel? Krishna is telling that if you just start this process, then it's freed from all reaction to past misdeeds. So then such a self-controlled yogi becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness. So perfect happiness, that's the goal of everyone. Yoga is not to, although Krishna says that one is equipoised in happiness and distress, basically we may feel that, oh, in happiness one should not be elated, in distress one should not be distressed. No. Whether external happiness and distress is coming or not, internal happiness is not affected at all. That is perfect happiness. So a yogi is always situated in bliss inside his heart, that external happiness and distress doesn't matter. He is happy in both. In happiness also he is happy. What's the difference? He's not, his happiness is doesn't make him uh, weight-headed. He doesn't think that it's all because of me. I am flying in the sky. In happiness, he's giving credit to the Lord, that you are the reason for me. In distress, he says, I should have got more than this, but because you have reduced my reaction to past deeds so much that I'm getting only a small account. Because of that, he is happy. That distress doesn't affect him that much. And what is that he's perfectly happy with? Perfectly happy in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Like One Prabhu, he was giving the class very nicely. He was telling this, like, if you see the young people in love with each other, for them consciously, now they're texting, video call, consciously the girl is thinking of the boy is thinking of the girl, and nothing else matters. Whatever more obstacles the parents put, the movie is this, right? All movies are like this: hero, heroine, and villain. So much obstacles the villain puts, everybody puts also. They are in their own world. They are happy, they're thinking of each other, doesn't matter where what goes. So Rupa Goswami actually gives this example that a devotee is such in a love with infatuation. Infatuation is temporary, but with the Lord, he is experiencing that happiness that's born out of love from the heart. Like a magnet is attracted, like the iron is attracted to the magnet, nothing else matters to him. And such a person, why he's doing that? Because he is observing the Lord in all beings and also every being in me. Indeed, the self realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. We saw the story of Mrigari, if we remember in the 18th day, that how he had a weird entertainment. He was a hunter. So for him, what was his entertainment was to see the animals uh, suffer and die. He would half kill. He wouldn't pierce the arrow into the heart of the animal to kill it completely instantly. He would pierce it only to that much that it writhes in pain, and the animal is or the bird is suffering and suffering and suffering and then dying. And he has, I mean, he's that gives him entertainment. So we can imagine, what kind of a person he was. And Narada Muni felt compassion on him, and he told him, can I ask you one thing? So he said, okay, you want a deer skin, what do you want? No, he said, I don't want deer skin, but I want one thing. Instead of half killing them, can you fully kill? Then he's asking, what's the difference? Then Narada Muni explains, the amount of suffering that you give, it's going to come back. So when it is instantly killed, it undergoes less suffering. But when you torture the animal like this, you pay. You are signing up for much more than torture that the animal is undergoing. And he's looking up, and by Narada Muni's mystic potency, he is bringing back the souls that they had killed in the sky, and he's seeing all those animals that are waiting to inflict the same pain on him, and he's scared. Then he's asking, what do I do? Narada Muni says, you give up this profession, throw your bow and arrow and come, and then I will tell you this mantra. You keep chanting this mantra. So then what will I do for food? So Narada Muni says, you just chant. You see what will happen. So he was chanting, and then this news spread in the village that this hunter has become a saint and he's not doing any work. He's not killing anymore. So let's give him food. Because Paramatma is in everyone's heart. Then when Narada Muni and Parvata Muni came to visit this hunter comes running to offer his namaskar, and then in the space in between, he found a group of ants. He doesn't want to crush them by falling on them, so he's slowly shooing them away. And looking at this change of the hunter, the Parvata Muni is saying, Narada Muni, you are a touchstone. Why? Because he's observing Krishna in all beings and also sees every being in me. So indeed, the self-realized person sees the same Supreme Lord everywhere. So for such a person, how the Lord's heart also goes. If a person sees the Lord everywhere, the Lord also sees him everywhere. That's why he's saying, for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Unless there is love in between Paramatma and Jivatma, how come this sentence can come out, right? If the Lord is impersonal only, light, or merging in the Supreme, how come he can have this quality, this heart to reciprocate much more than what the devotee uh, gives him? gives love to him. So he says, I'm never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Okay, so we will do 31 to 34 and then we can pause for today. Can someone read?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Text 31. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. Text 32. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress. O Arjuna. Text 33. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Text 34. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the mind,
Controlling the wind. Yeah.
controlling the wind. Text 35. Lord Sri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So we will pause. We will take 35 for discussion next week. So, and then Krishna is saying that how I and the super soul are one. So this is again the difference between the Bhagavan and Paramatma. So it's not that Jivatma is the same as Paramatma, but Krishna is saying that Vishnu is or Krishna is not different from the super soul, and uh, concentrating on him or finding the super soul as a person and meditating on him. So much a person, if you are meditating on someone's good qualities always, then obviously we will be connected to that person in love. Or unless we love the person, it's hard to think about him. So that's why Bhakti Yoga means we are developing love for Krishna in a scientific manner, in a practical manner. Not that love for Krishna means closing the eyes and when you think of Krishna, tears are pouring down. No. If you love someone, you just look at him and keep crying. No. You have to do something practical. That is why Prabhupada never translated bhakti as devotion, but devotional service. We love someone, we do something practical for them. So, and then, so that's what, this bhakti yoga, by this yoga process of doing something practical for the Lord with the senses, that is a chanting. When we chant the holy names of the Lord, we are engaging all our senses and mind as a service to the Lord. And when we do it day in and day out, without being deviated from the path. How could one be deviated from the path? When we give something else priority than coming together in the association of devotees. Like we have the online sangha, we are coming together twice in a week to learn Bhagavad Gita, and then we are reading on our own. Suppose we have some work and we didn't do this. Just this much is enough to uh, take us off the track, because keeping consistency means determined to come to the association, to the sessions, to chant together, to read together, keeping things aside or giving that priority. If that is not happening, then we will be thrown off the track very, very soon. So it's important that we be on track and we come to the classes, we are connected with devotees and with the inspiration. And not only that's not only enough, we practice and we come together to get the determination to practice. So these two things slowly will we will see ourselves progressing in Bhakti Yoga. And yeah, he's a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in their both happiness and distress. So he wants to give what gives happiness to him, he wants to share that with others. When somebody is in distress, he puts himself in their shoes and then he gives some solution. You see, all saints, all the common people, they run to the saints or sages with problems, rishis, and the rishis will help them, the yogis. Why? Why they have to help them? Because they're seeing their distress as others' distress as their own. Like, in the Himalayas, there are many rishis who are there, the sages even now, and they are all up in the morning. And what they are doing is, when whatever the chanting and austerities they do, they want to share the benefit with whoever is awake at that time and doing their practice of chanting. So that's why when we get up in the morning and chant, it's like matching a donation. Like we give some donation and our the company, the place where we work matches that. So if we do some little bit of effort, chanting in the morning, especially in the morning, then the rishis put more, not even matching. They are putting many, many times more than our effort. And so we are getting benefited by that. Why they are like that? Because they are a perfect yogi and they are seeing in all beings uh, in their happiness and distress. So after selling all this, Arjuna is saying that the system you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me. This system starting from Suchau Deshe, so starting from 10 to 32, all this Ashtanga Yoga, he's saying that it is very, it's unendurable. Controlling the mind through the Ashtanga Yoga process, Arjuna is saying is very difficult for him. When how difficult for us. Compared to us, how Arjuna was very well equipped. But still he said that it's impractical and unendurable to me. And why? Because the mind is restless and unsteady. And he says four things. He glorifies the mind with four adjectives: restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. Restless like a child. If you have a 2 to 3 year old child, constantly you need to take care. You know what the because the child is restless from one thing to another thing to another thing, and then put it and doesn't know what is good and what is dangerous. So mind is also like this, from one to another, not knowing the dangers. Then, if the child is okay, turbulent, it's like a powerful uh, a powerful bully. So the bully, a person who bullies is having, I mean, it's not going to give up bullying, wanting to make us feel that you are small and I am big, you are nothing compared to me. So bully means what? Finally make you feel worthless. So sometimes we don't know, the mind keeps telling negative thoughts like this, that you are useless, you cannot do this, this is difficult task and this is not for you. Turbulent, always have to create a storm out of nothing, like a storm in a teacup. Nothing will be there, but the mind will churn out of something and make a big storm. And obstinate is relentless, not leaving, again and again to the point. uh, I mean, we want to move, okay, let's leave it. Try. Your mind is bringing something again and again and again, and try telling to yourself, to the mind, that okay, no, let's leave this and then go to somewhere else. No, obstinate means whatever, like they say in Tamil, there is a saying that there are argument between two people, and then the one is saying that the rabbit has four legs. The other is saying no, the rabbit has only three legs. Then this one proves. See the rabbit. If you see the picture of the rabbit, it has four legs. But this person says no, that the rabbit that I caught, okay, that had only three legs. So that means very obstinate, doesn't want to listen, and very strong. So mind is all this, and Arjuna is saying to subdue it is difficult than controlling the wind. Arjuna can control the wind, but controlling the mind is very difficult for Arjuna. So we'll pause here. It may be a cliffhanger. Of course, you might have read what Arjuna is saying. Krishna is answering, but Arjuna is continuing to have questions more and more, and Krishna is explaining this. So, mind is like a madman. Child is harmless, but madman. You can imagine a person who's mad is dangerous. And mind is also like a leech. Leech is relentless. I mean, that's why they say if the leech is stuck to a skin, it's very hard to take away the leech. You need to cut off the skin. So if the mind is stuck to something, it's very hard. That is why we cannot do it in our power. Mind is so powerful, although the soul is so powerful, because we have given the power of attorney to the mind. For many, many, many lifetimes, the mind is like a monster oversized now. So we need Krishna's power to subdue the mind. And that's where the difference between simply meditation and mantra meditation. When we simply sit for meditation, it's between me and the mind. And imagine all this restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. Where do we even have a chance? But when we chant Krishna's names, who is the creator of the mind and the material modes of nature? Krishna's names, like the sparrow and the Garuda. Okay, sparrow only has determination, but Garuda came to help. Similarly, if we are determined, then Krishna's name is like Garuda, and holy name helps us to subdue such a mind. So we will pause here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. If you have any quick questions, the next 5 minutes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Namrata.
So what is conquering the mind means what?
Conquering someone means what? For example, we must have
Yeah.
read the history that the king had conquered the neighboring country,
Defeating.
defeating, and then the king's law will only work in the conquered king's law, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the king who has conquered the territory, he becomes the king of both.
Mm-hmm.
Conquering the mind means we become the king of the mind.
Oh, okay.
What we say, the mind listens. But Krishna nicely brings it up. In Bhagavad, only when we read Bhagavad Gita, we will know that we are conquered by mind. Even that knowledge is not available anywhere else.
But like in order to conquer also, like all this wisdom is there, but we like forget. We have to read it every now and then, and if we stop reading again, mind conquers us.
Yeah, but why, conquer means reading and practice.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't practice, then we cannot conquer just by reading. And if we don't read, we will forget why we are practicing, and we will not be effectively practicing every day. So both are required.
Mm-hmm.
In that, practice is most important. Reading also you can do once a week, but practice, that is chanting, every day has to be done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, practicing means chanting, right?
Because that is a personal, you're entering into, it's like reading is like you're getting coached in the boxing match outside the boxing arena. Practicing means you are entering the boxing arena ready to box with the mind. So you learn from that. By
Okay.
practice, you learn. Okay. Thank you. Pratibha Mataji. If I don't have time, I will take the questions next week. Pratibha Mataji, you have question? Okay, we will unmute Sadbir.
The mind is so difficult to conquer, my goodness.
Yeah.
Mother, a question. Sometimes we get up at night to do devotional service, I mean, reading or all that. But still, we are overcome by sleep. Actually, just now, yesterday, I remembered that Krishna said that at night, the yogis, it is their day. They study and all. And we to go to sleep only. I mean, what to do? How to overcome that?
No, night basically here means for yogis, it's early morning.
Uh,
For those who are, club goers, night party people, early morning only
uh,
they start to sleep. And
uh,
I'm very sad that this culture is coming in even the young kids. They say sleepover. And then
uh,
I was talking to a 10-year-old girl, neighbor, and she was telling me, I went for a sleepover. How much, when did you sleep? We slept at 5 in the morning. Why? I said, if don't you feel sleepy? Yeah, at
uh,
1 feel sleepy, but there are other girls will write, will draw on my hand, will pour water on my face to keep me awake. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. Because this is what they think is enjoyment. We shouldn't sleep and we should enjoy. But on Ekadasi Day, Krishna is telling, wake up and chant. Anyway, if that's not possible, I mean, the point is, yeah, that's why we have a Sangha. Like we get up, oh, 6 o'clock call is there. So I have to get up and get ready before I start to chant. So, like this, if we have a group of people, then we group together to fight against the mind. Alone, oh, I want to get up, then immediately we'll take the blanket and cover nicely and sleep. If there is no group, nobody to, inspire us to come. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Sadbir Mataji, you had a question.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I was just, I don't know if I could be wrong, but I was just wanted to add up as Namarta Mataji asked, conquering mind. I was thinking it could be another example when we say, sometime our mind is telling us like, it's okay, nobody's watching us. Let's not do the puja today, or let's do the less of malas, less japas, right? And then it's just kind of taking us away from the guard, just like shaitan. And then, but we are pushing, even though we don't want it, against our will, pushing towards the guard is like conquering the mind.
Oh, very nice
yeah.
example.
Yeah, that's all from my side. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Tangi Mataji, sorry to disturb that. At this time, how should I convince myself, force myself?
Mataji,
It's
you
okay.
already asked the question, Mataji.
Okay,
Follow the
okay,
order.
Yeah,
Many
sorry.
times you just butt right in.
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
No, so we'll discuss more, Mataji. Okay, so the
okay,
point
okay.
is with we are all together and in this and we make a group attack towards the mind.
Yeah,
So
okay,
we may fail, but failure is the path of success. So
okay.
even if you fail,
Thank you.
you won't need to worry. Okay. Sorry, Prabhuji. Srivatsa Prabhuji, you had a question.
Yes, Mataji. It's when it comes to dharma, there are certain standards. Everybody becomes philosophers when certain things, and it's like if we don't follow an order, then how come we can claim to be, a sangha, or we have certain standards, we are raising consciousness and all these things. So it might seem nuanced, but it is necessary in my opinion.
Okay. I remember your comment last time also that why are we rising?
Yeah, every time I make sure I reaffirm the same thing, because even if I'm the only voice, it is the small things that need to be upheld in and then the whole thing, it becomes enriched. The
It will
conversation
be a
becomes
Kshatriya
enriched.
spirit, putting things
Thank you, thank
like coming up. Very nice.
you. So in terms of this conquering issue that comes, I mean, I was reading about the matrix. The matrix, Mataji, being basically a systemized way of being, that is where the powers at be rule through fear, coercion, manipulation, distortion. Uh, so sometimes this trickles over in religious things too. So I wanted to ask you, essentially, when the fog clears, it is easy to see. So, but the fog is essentially anything that is not helping, but through fear and coercion, it is being told to the individual that, yes, do this, and it is helping. So, like certain things, like in the matrix, like you'll have financial systems, political systems, it is all man-made. But as long as we are within this, we are never quite free. Freedom is an illusion, essentially. So, similarly, in religious circles, how do we navigate, Mataji?
Okay. See, if you see in the history, any revolution has come up from one person or a very small group of people, who are very empowered, who are convinced, who are practicing this. Then from them it spread. If you see any as political or religious or any revolution like that
Mm,
happens like that. So change should start from within.
mm,
Then only empowerment comes.
mm,
Otherwise, it's difficult. So even if there are a very few people
mm,
practicing Sanatan Dharma, practicing the values, that
mm,
too will make a change eventually in the history.
mm.
We stick to the practice, and that practice empowers us to give the change in such a way that is palatable to others. That's interesting.
Oh. So, Mataji, so my sort of leaning, does it come across as a Kshatriya nature, or can I go out into the world and make a change with this sort of because religiosity, tradition, these sort of things are, yes, they're palpable to me, but then I'm like, okay, let's move on. Let's do something. Let's do something about this now.
It's nice of doing something, but
Uh-huh.
you need to when you're in step one, when we are thinking about step 21, how to go from step 1 to step 21, there are 20 steps in between.
The Lord will lead us, na?
No,
Start walking.
we should lead us. We should help ourselves. God helps those who help us. So you should put your step firmly on step 2, then step 3. Then eventually, like this baby steps, you will come to 21.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, small things that you can do in a day. You think, what can I do practically? For example, chanting. I don't know if you've started that, but
No, I chant, Mataji. I do Sandhya Vandanam actually in the morning.
okay, that's nice.
Um,
Along with that, this Kali Yuga
right,
Dharma of Hare Krishna Mahamantra also, if you start 108 times, because
right.
that sitting
Mm,
for the 108 times is your real conquering yourself. Because within that, the mind will go here and there. And then the intelligence will say, why am I doing it? But,
I don't suffer too much from this, Mataji, honestly. Like clarity is, for the most part, I am clear.
yeah, then you
Because
start
I
with that.
also
Okay, 108 times is the minimum that is
uh-huh.
that is given in the Vedic paradigm for any mantra or any practice. Because why
Okay.
the time? Because when we take time to chant 108 times, that will take 10 minutes in the beginning. At
Yeah,
least
yeah.
that much. We have to ground ourselves, our mind, our intelligence, everything.
Got it. Got it.
Then with that, we can expand.
Absolutely. Thank you. Shukratri.
Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you all the devotees. I am so sorry I have to go now. So we will read the purports of these till what we covered today. There are only a few more verses in this, but we will do that, and if possible, we can start chapter 7 also next class. Don't forget to go through the purports. It's very, very important, and please note down your points. You can share in the group or your questions. So thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.